7 saved that game for Team WE with the Baron, not Baron Steel, but the Baron fight and the ace.
They most certainly did. Condi, of course, the god of the Baron pit.
The god.
Yeah, a complete
Shurima.
monster.
Hello? I don't know why that happened.
Well,
Move on.
Chagu are going to ban Bard and the Rise.
Bard.
And Kindred actually going to be taken away here. Swift doesn't want to play it. He's just going to ban it away from himself, as they do want that Graves first pick by the looks of things. We'll see what WE do to adapt. Here as the Corki and Lulu have been banned.
They have to ban Italy.
Yeah, or is it...
Or leave both of them open.
Well, of course, Italy can be banned. They will have the opportunity to go towards the Lysandra if they want to in the next round of picks, which is what has snuck through.
This is all about jungle right now. So if they ban the Nidalee, then it leaves priority pick for the Graves open, which then puts Condi at a disadvantage, especially against the likes of Sivir. The likes of Sivir. Likes of Swift. Ban Sivir, Graves, and Nidalee are open. You make sure that you're at least getting one.
Yeah, well, Condi will see what he's going to be able to get, as Nidalee is the one that's going to be picked up. Of course, 76% of the bans during the regular season were Nidalee against QG. So, of course, definitely a power pick for Swift.
Comes the denial.
Yeah, so the Lucian denial a possibility here. Mystic has shown that he's a fantastic Lucian player, especially in the games that they were able to take yesterday. Lucian Janna, Lucian Bard. In fact, 100% win rate on Lucian in that last series. We have a look at the previous one. In fact, 0%, unfortunately. So, a bit of a switcheroo, but definitely recently playing well in the Champions.
Did you, like, check your sheet? You're like, and it was 0.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is unfortunate. But his Civil win rate and Ezra was
Awkward.
fantastic against VG. They are looking for the Poppy and the Lucian, though, this time around. So no sort of consideration there for the Lysandra. Wanting to leave that one open.
Poppy's just too key against the likes of Xiaogu. Again,
Yeah.
Good team fights from both QG as well as Team WE, and Poppy's just going to give you more tools to continue to abuse that.
Yeah, really good point. But Pekka going to waste no time. Locks in the Lysandra. V could be playing it there towards the top side of the map, but I have a feeling, based on just how keen he was, that Pekka wants to really show himself on this mid lane control mage. The Victor wasn't too bad in the early stages of the game.
I think it's more so the priority to make sure that Xie doesn't get his hands on that.
Yeah, well, Alistair once again for Chago as well. This is sort of a big deal. Massive power picks here.
Okay, Graves and Karma.
I would love to see Karma.
It'll be the support. Doesn't have to be, though. Graves and Braum.
Well, they might just save Zero's pick until last, which would be very cute.
I got it on the second attempt.
Well, Braum currently hovered here from GA. They will probably save that mid lane pick up until the final one, but Graves makes a heck of a lot of sense, like you were saying. Condi happy to hop back on that one, and, you know, if you want a good lane, Braum Lucian, pretty dang strong.
Yes, but we still don't know what AD carry Uzi will pick out.
Very good point.
Without the Sivir, he could still likely go for the Caitlyn or the Jhin
Yeah,
or
Vayne.
the Vayne.
Yeah, will be the hover here, but of course, Alistair Vayne, back when Vayne was first released, was a fantastic lane. Knock him up, smack him into a wall.
Fun fact, I believe I saw this Reddit thread on the other day. They were like, Doublift is known for his Vayne play, but he actually has a really terrible win record on Vayne. Uzi is very much the same. Uzi is known for his Vayne play.
Thank you, 2015.
But his Vayne record is actually pretty not, I'm going to put it in the not good column.
Yeah, I attest to that. 27 seconds remaining, though,
like
as Chago
Jhin.
thinking about Jhin. Yeah, and more. Going for the Trundle for V, up on the top side of the map.
I really like Jhin with Trundle just because a pillar comes up and it pretty much gives you just free auto attacks.
Oh my god, he did it. Okay, Uzi's throwing the gauntlet.
Wow.
We're up to match point here against WE. Uzi's like, all right, boys. Let's settle in. Let's grab the Vayne and let's smack them around. It is going to be Maokai actually picked up into the Poppy. We've seen this matchup go one of two ways, so...
We've talked about, you know, like everyone knows like signature champions or power picks for certain players like Faker's LeBlanc and things like that. Klulov's Evelynn. Although what I technically named is what I like to dub the legacy champion.
Yeah.
So not necessarily like the best win rate or the power pick, but just the champion that this player is most well known for. Again, Clearlove has Eve, Faker has LeBlanc, Uzi has Vayne. When there's an important match when they want to have fun, when Uzi's just going to go crazy, he will lock in the Vayne. So win or lose, I have a feeling we're going to get a good performance.
Damn right we are, but it's going to be really difficult. Of course, historically, Vayne has been considered a pick that works okay against Lucian, considering the fact that you can tumble out of the way of the piercing light, deny a lot of that damage.
She's considered a counter.
Yeah. I still just don't believe that that necessarily works, just because you're so weak in the early stages of the game, and that's where Lucian is so strong, irrespective of hitting that piercing line.
Well, the thing is initial back you will be weaker, but the thing that people often underestimate with Vayne is that her level 6, because of the free stats that she gets on Final Hour, you effectively get a free BF sword while you're itemizing towards attack speed. So at level 6, Vayne is pretty freaking strong and will just run at you and can kill you quite easily within the duration of her ultimate. Not
to mention the fact that the Night Stalker is going to be doubled as far as that power is concerned with the movement speed against fleeing foes. So we'll see exactly whether he's going to be able to utilize that one effectively, but definitely gauntlet thrown. Like, if there's anything here that you can say, it's the fact that Xiaogu have said, this is the final game, theoretically. We are backs against the wall. Let's pull everything out and see if we can take a win. And we'll see whether, you know, Peko on the Lissandra is going to be able to make it happen. Can definitely be very useful, irrespective of how the laning phase goes. And look, I'm really excited to see how this one's going to go, because if Xiaogu are going to win a game, it's going to be with these champions, and I'm really excited to see how it goes.
And it's not even just Uzi's Vayne, it's also the fact that Swift got Nidalee. This champion has effectively been permabanned away from him throughout the entirety of the LPL season. We talked about, with the adjustment of Kindred being banned, would Team WE leave both Nidalee and Graves open and prioritize at least one of these power picks? The answer was yes, but now we finally get the Swift versus Condi 1v1 Nidalee versus Graves.
Yeah, and this is a power matchup, and it was your key matchup as well moving into this game, and we'll see whether Condi, his third game on the Graves, definitely is one of these points that we look at and say, look, Condi has been fantastic in all three of these games, well, the first two of these games, and we'll see whether it is going to be that Graves pickup that's going to give it to him.
No, completely agree. We'll see if we also get standard lanes, because it has been an effective lane swap both times, so isolating, which if Uzi's on Vayne, he's not going to mind that at all. Like you said, Vayne doesn't have necessarily the best early lane phase, really dependent on her post-level 6 or having that ultimate available, so...
Yeah, that's exactly right. We are onto the Rift, though, ladies and gentlemen, as it, of course, was GA picking up the LeBlanc as the final pick for WE, one that we haven't quite spoke about yet. When Uzi locks in Vayne, you generally just want to have a chat about it for quite some time. But it is going to be the LeBlanc versus another control mage, but one that could possibly deal with her a little bit better. Circle of Frost able to pin her down just for a little bit, allow you to get a bit of damage off. But Mystic now mucking around with Xie and more.
Peko has Ignite.
Oh god, what a beast.
The thing about Lissandra is that she synergizes so well with double teleport, just because she has phenomenal wave clear, and then when she teleports into a lane, she can immediately offer hard CC. And setup damage. But he's just, nope, Ignite.
Yeah, he's like, I want to kill you, Xie. This is now my time to prove myself as the mid laner that we need.
But it will be an initiated lane swap again, so we're dodging standard lanes. The isolated lane for Vayne.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. Make sure that you can get to that level 6 freely, and we'll see whether they actually switch back into that lane swap and make use of, like you said, the final hour, the fact that you get that extra statistical advantage up in any matchup. As Peko answers the trade. Real exciting stuff here.
That's a highlight for you?
Damn right it is.
Okay. Excellent.
But it is a corrupting potion here from GA as well, so to have a little bit more sustain in the lane.
Jungler is actually starting on the weak sides of the map for both instances as well. So we'll see how this adjusts the early gank pass. On 6.6, Rusty talks about this a lot. Nidalee has the fastest clear speed of any jungler ever at any time.
Times a billion.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It certainly is. Uzi level 1, he's able to shove out 957. Might make his jungle time a little bit more difficult with slightly less health, but probably not going to worry about it too much, as now Peko has a lot of minions to clear up. They're all prepared for him quite nicely as well. As Xie level 2. Very comfortable, and we'll see whether this is going to be another phenomenal performance out of the LeBlanc player. So WE, I mean, we spoke about Xiaogu feeling very comfortable right now, but WE have a lot of power picks here. I mean, the Poppy, the LeBlanc, even Mystic on the Lucian, plus Condi on the Graves. This is sort of comfort versus comfort, so both of these teams unlocked in game number 3.
Comfort versus comfort, as long as we're not looking at this mid lane. Again, Peko's champion pool, 3 different champions for all 3 games. But last time around, pretty much both games back-to-back, Xie has just been able to feed off of the inexperienced mid laner and snowball from there.
Pekka actually eating that QW combo here from Xie, but he's eating through his mana pool. See whether Pekka is going to be able to find some respite, of course, being helped out by that passive. But WE now stacking up, taking out this first outer turret. Vayne with a little bit less AD. Gonna struggle a little bit on that one, but...
Well, she's also competing against the likes of the double tap. Oh, flash!
Yeah, there's a flash forward as Pekka. One more auto attack will do it. There it is. First blood goes down as Swift is actually looking for this, but the decoy comes in, and Xie is going to survive. Swift actually having to deal with Condi now, having to flash out of the way. I could have sworn that Condi was going to flash after him there.
He would be competing against a Primal Surge as well.
Well, yeah, so it was smart, but
yes.
Blood rush to the head, something that Condi's known for in the early stages.
Great play from Xie, also gets his life out of that one, dodging back into the creep wave to dodge, excuse me, to avoid Swift's spear.
Yeah.
But both towers will fall into the side lanes. Uzi being a primary benefactor there, getting the last hit, so taking a bit of that extra gold.
Yeah, and actually 27 to 23, so already a little bit further ahead. And we'll see whether they match lanes now, trying to get past that sort of 1-2 mark. Get themselves back to a point of power. There's very similar items picked up here as Uzi is going to grab an extra dagger. Of course, Blade of the Ruined King, his item of choice first up.
Check out what Maokai picked up.
Yeah, he got that last time around as well, as Pekka looking to head out of the way, but the chains land. Xie just knows exactly what's going on here. Getting as much out as possible, but it does take a turret shot. But this power, it's unrelenting. He also has a Dark Seal. So, you know, there's one per team right now. The synergy, for multiple reasons, is fantastic.
This game's going to be nuts.
It is.
I can already tell.
It's already going a little bit insane here as Pekka down to about 350 health. Answering back, does still have a fair bit of farm, but first blood for a LeBlanc. I can feel the bad news in the air.
Look at Condi sitting in the wings as well. They're waiting for Swift. It's going to be the 2v2.
Yeah, Swift, of course, making his way in. GA posturing aggressively, and it's all going to be about who can land the CC, who can get the extra damage. But Swift is going to head back. Oh, actually deciding to turn back around. Pekko's like, no, 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 no. You stay. Stay, kitty cat. But Condi's actually going to head back. This could be an opportunity for Chaogu to make something happen. It's
because Pekko's been utilizing his potion very well. He's got a lot of, he's recouped a lot of this health. We are also getting closer to that level 6. Swift's still hanging around in the area, but now Condi looking bottom.
Yeah, the Unbreakable goes down, but there's the headbutt. Back onto 0. Condi is going to head in. And Uzi does have to be so careful. There are the concussive blows. Level 4 on the cow, not going to be able to use that Unbreakable Will, but Mystic probably shouldn't have taken a turret shot. Silver Bolt's really going to do some work.
And that's kind of the primary counter here for Vayne against Lucian, especially with the adjustments to Lucian's range so long ago. Vayne actually had the superior matchup there, but being able to tumble out of the piercing light and then immediately trade back on that with the Silver Bolts.
Well, you can see definitely paying dividends there, but WE setting themselves up underneath this turret. Condi, a lot of extra damage there as they whittle it down to about half health. Chaogu do make their way back in, but miss out on a little bit of the experience.
Really respecting the possibility of a teleport gank and pulling Swift over to shadow on top of them and give them a lot of their confidence back. Yeah,
opening some room there in the mid lane for GA at the same time, unfortunately, though. So Pekka will need to play a little bit more carefully, especially now that that Mimic has been built up. So the QR combination, very safe. Pretty easy there from GA as well, as he's just taking that health bar down slowly but surely. No regeneration available, apart from the ultimate if he self-casts it.
Condi could be caught out by Swift and more here, though.
Yeah, level disadvantage here from Condi.
Nidalee's got 10 CS, currently tied with the highest level in the game.
Yeah, Nidalee just pretty fast with the ultimate. And despite First Blood going to WE, it's 700 gold the lead.
And a lot of that's in the jungle.
Yeah. And you know, it's something that Nidalee is known to do, as the Claw is going to go over Pekka, just scouting things out. G8 makes it back in. In fact, used his ultimate in order to get back to the lane.
He wants to back right now, so I think it's more about just clearing out these waves as safely and quickly as possible, and then backing towards your power spike.
Wow.
The BM.
Actually, that's a circle of frost going down. Xie underneath the turret, and he gets outplayed by Peko. Just some overconfidence by the mid laner.
The BM. There's no reason. Xie, what are you thinking? That's 3 times in this series that you've just thrown away. Yeah. It's not worth it, man.
Oh, God.
It gets better.
Well, GA decided to build a Negatron cloak and then thought, that's stupid. And there's the blasting
He
one.
had so much gold for the...
Yeah.
That's so strange.
It's a real waste of life. But Mystic, now with a bit of a freeze here towards the bottom side of the map. Zero going to head back to base, see what he's going to pick up for himself. Mystic now just trying to claw back that disadvantage in CS. He's going to be able to do so very effectively here.
Okay, maybe the mentality was, I need to go back, but I don't want to waste time on my blue buff as good dodge.
Yeah, but 957's making his way over. The pounce back off cooldown switch is going to spend some time with Carol.
Mystic, or excuse me, Xie, gets blue buff.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to waste time in base with his blue buff. So he's like, if I give it to Lissandra, I'll get my back as well as be able to refresh the cooldown when I get back into the lane.
Ah.
I think that was the...
That's going to involve killing him. And he now has a catalyst. What are they? Okay, so it's sort of like the top lane Lissandra variant here in the mid lane. Often we see the old Abyssal Scepter into the likes of Zhonya's Hourglass.
Here comes a dive.
But yeah, you're right. Peko looking for it. Claw of Doom comes in, but he doesn't follow up. WE creating enough distance right now. Zero going to go straight in there. Gets out of the way of the pulverizers more. They'll have to wait for that one to come up. But half health on this turret now. 957 used the ultimate already. They don't have a lot of disengage from this, but they're running out of minions on the side of QG. Xie is going to make his way through.
4v5. Check out Lucian. Mystic is on completely the other side of the map, so with the Rift Herald, QG are going to be able to siege this down, but what are they trading? Their tower for some free farm and experience on Lucian.
Yeah, we'll see whether it's going to be enough here. Of course, Rift Herald did help out. QG now just moving as a unit. Condi's going to make his way over. Uzi in trouble. But Mimic Distortion not going to be quite enough. He's burning to death here. 200 health now remaining on the Vayne.
They do buy enough time for Mystic with this tower. He could look to even up the trade between objectives.
Will definitely, because this tower is not on high health. So, answering outers. And WE, despite the fact that it looked bad in that 4v5, no one dies, and they answer.
Was able to be maintained because, again, Team WE know exactly when not to fight. So they made sure that QG just couldn't get the engagement on them with the numbers advantage.
Yeah, Mystic, though, now ahead by the amount that he was falling behind last time around, 15 CS. So the Lucian well and truly back up in this one. BF Sword will be completed. We'll see whether he can grab himself a hammer at the same time. And that spike in power is going to be strong. Xie, Circle of Frost, not going to be able to lock him down this time. He's not under a tower as well, which is handy.
More importantly, the blue buff fell off, so Xie's master plan has been foiled again.
Well done, Peko.
The true mid laner.
Yeah, precisely. Actually has a level advantage here at the same time. So, nice work nullifying this LeBlanc.
I mean, I feel like you put that on the resume. Beat Xie in lane.
Yeah, damn right. Head in farm, 20 CS.
Dragon being set up here, though, for Zero, placing down his vision. I mean, check out the river control that Team WE have acquired.
Well, they're just vision control throughout this series has been honestly fantastic, as now Swift is going to make his way in. 957 has to flash, but doesn't quite have enough, and he's going to miss the ultimate there as well. So Swift doesn't quite find the spear as 957's running away. The flash comes in, he gets slowed down by the arcane smashes. There's a twisted advance, and Swift is going to be able to lock down the kill in the end. Nicely played from QG, and we'll see whether WE can answer. But Mystic actually going to get engaged on here by Moore. Concussive blows goes down. He's only level 5. Flashes out of the way as Final Hour has now been popped. Uzi's looking for it here as the heal comes in. Oh, he's in trouble. Piercing Light picks it up, and WE outplay the bottom lane.
And that was the big thing, is the fact that Alistar is a level down, didn't have the Unbreakable available, but meanwhile mid.
Yep, Frozen Tomb comes in. GA in so much trouble. Swift is going to swipe him off the rift. And the LeBlanc's going to fall. WE might be able to answer here with a lot of turret damage. But look, that is 2 lanes falling for WE and only 1 for QG.
And they're also perhaps getting collapsed on. WE do have the inside track, so able to shadow on top of Mystic, trying to get him out. But here comes Lissandra.
Yeah, Lissandra's coming in here as Mystic flashes forward, picks it up. Condi's actually going to grab it there. Very cheeky with the collateral damage of the Teleport's coming in. Winter's Bite's going to tag Peko. Now 4 versus 3 here on the bottom side of the map. Uzi's closing in on the other side, but Mystic actually off on his own here. Dangerous maneuver as Uzi is going to close in. They managed to pick it up onto Mystic with the Condemner. Zero has to flash out over the top. Swift looking for it. Actually answers the flash now as well as Peko gets himself out of danger. 957 is trying to take down Swift, but can't follow the pounce. And in goes QG. This is the skirmishing that we're looking for. V picks up the kill, and now Condi, what are you doing? What are you doing?
He's waiting for Xie, who has walked from base, but it looks like everyone's going to back out of this, so...
Xiaogu?
Uncharacteristic from Team WE to get a little bit too bloodthirsty, and like you said, Xiaogu fighting in their element, these very scrappy, elongated 5v5s, 3v3s, but the primary benefactor was Uzi on Vayne. Yeah,
managed to pick up the kill onto Mystic there as well, which is so incredibly important. And Condemn working out as he made his way back into the fight. And look, WE, I liked it. The fact that they got their 4 members there, they were all grouped up there towards the bottom side of the map, and this is something that we've sort of spoken about in the past, but Mystic moving off on his own into that choke point, just devastating away from the rest of his team. I just have a feeling that if they were playing like their regular selves, all staying grouped up, able to play this one out, would have been a better story as Moore and Uzi have to move out of the way from Condi. The rest of QG now moving towards the Herald as Xie is going to land the chains. More now level 6 though, which is very, very important. Does have the Unbreakable Will. He's just trampling his way around the jungle.
Will be an objective trade, however, between QG and Team WE. Dragon for Rift Herald.
Yeah, definitely good news. WE about 2,500 gold behind. A situation they're very used to, but this time the LeBlanc not in a powerful situation. Uzi doing well on the Vayne. Blade of the Ruined King completed. Now going for what looks like it should probably be something like a Phantom Dancer as item number 2. If I know anything about Uzi and the way he likes to play his Vayne. But first Dragon does fall to WE.
Very late Dragon as well.
Yeah, 15 minutes. One of the latest that we've seen.
Hasn't really been the priority between these two teams. They've most likely been trying to chase each other across map.
Yeah, very true.
We knew it was going to be a bloodthirsty game from all of the comfort champions across the board. Again, game, set, and match for Team WE to secure their 3rd place in their spring split for 2016.
Yeah, and more points there as well, moving towards Worlds than a 4th place finish would net them. Important here, especially for a team that is not used to being at the top end of the playoffs. WE, they made a late surge towards the end of last year.
They've had a bit of a slump for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But congrats to the organization on rebuilding. It's no easy feat to live up to the dynasty and the expectations that this organization has built.
Oh, most definitely. Don't have any of those massive names on this WE roster anymore, but starting to make names for themselves. Zero, of course, being a fantastic player in his own right. Sahorn Royal Club mostly, but still stepping into his own here. As Circle of Frost does go down, Condi decides not to do too much as Peko throws out the claw, but in goes Xie one more time, lands the chains here as Mystic is going to find his way in. Frozen Tomb just going to be weighted here as Moore is able to get over the top. Mystic still playing aggressively, but gets nabbed by a spear. A lot of damage out of Swift as he pounces out of the way of the culling.
And Xie continuing to punish Peko for his misuse of gap closers. We saw it when he picked up Lucian. Anytime he used the Relentless Pursuit too aggressively, Xie was on top of him. And this time around with the Glacial Path.
Yeah, thankfully Peko with a bit of a better early game. Not just going to get murdered for the mistake.
I'll set his team behind him. But we do have some consolidating of resources up top from Team WE.
Yeah. QG are going to put themselves in a decent position though, as Moore is going to miss the Pulverize. Does still have the flash though if he wants to grab it on the next rotation of that cooldown. And Uzi just splitting by himself towards the bottom side of the map. We can see him on our screen right now, having the time of his life. This is what Uzi wants to do. Be away from his team. Anyone gets sent down there, he'll just kill him.
In a 1v1 scenario, unless he comes up against the likes of Xie.
Yeah. I actually feel like he'd probably just try and kill Xie as well.
Oh, he would definitely try, and he could have the potential to do so if Xie doesn't position correctly to stun. Excuse me, a condemn.
Well, you know, condemn leads to a stun.
Especially when you're like in the mid lane and they can dim you into the top lane stunned against the far wall.
Yeah.
Really like that ability. Seems really consistent on its, you know, distance traveled.
Yeah, totally. Standard stuff.
It's like a Bard Cosmic Binding. Between a Teemo Mushroom and a Bard Cosmic Binding hitbox. So where are we?
About 1 billion. But more actually not going to find the chain. She pops Thunderlords, half the health of the cow. Not exactly the type of support you really want to be deleting, though. Unbreakable Will probably going to be able to keep him alive through most of it.
Yeah, but if you can burn that ultimate for, you know, a 16-second ultimate, I say more power to you, Xie.
Still has that 16-second ultimate here as well, as QG are moving 3 members into the mid lane. They're going to be backing the tree, looking to try and grab something extra. Sunfire Cape now completed. Oh, Xie actually going to eat a spear, and Swift's Nidalee doing work. Look at this guy, about 25 CS in the lead. Rod of Age is done at 18 minutes, as well as the Runic Echoes, as well as the Lucidity Boots. Still
the highest level on the map, him and Pekko, both level 12. From the jungle, that's a big deal. Compare that to Condi's level 10, in particular as we get closer to Smite battles.
Yeah, precisely. And Condi does have a Hex Drinker, which is a big deal against sort of the triple magic threats coming out. But WE, see whether they can have one of these miracle team fights once again. Use their heads. Get the right fights, the ones that they're actually looking for. Pekko actually going to get the Circle of Frost there under 0. Throws up the Unbreakable, but Moore does have to use his ult here as well. A little bit of an overly ambitious engagement out of QG, but not going to get punished too heavily as Swift is going to head over the top. GA in trouble as he's pouncing for it. Swift is going to get knocked out of here, but GA is eventually able to pick up the kill. What was that?
So aggressive and just not really communicated between multiple members of QG, not just Swift, but you were just talking about how Moore may be a little bit overzealous, forced to pop the Unbreakable, and then after Moore and Pekko disengage clearly from the mid lane, Swift caught out on the side and deleted. And not only does he lose his life, but they also sacrifice their TP.
Yeah. And GA is able to pick up that kill as well, so Dark Seal getting stacked. Big news. See whether they are going to be able to make anything out of that. It was a needlessly large rod picked up from GA. Still has his flash available as Pekko is going to head back over after picking up his blue buff. Clear out this mid lane of the farm. Of course, that turret very, very healthy. GA now looking to try and answer on the bottom side of the map as Uzi was shoving that one out one more time. But you can see Mystic this time able to keep up very, very well, picking up what Uzi is delivering to him. But Vayne sort of dealing with this mid-game relative trough. It's absolutely fine. 2 items now completed. Static Shiv was what he decided to go with. Add a bit of wave clear into the build. I like it a lot.
I like Static Shiv.
Yeah.
I think that Phantom Dancer and both sides of Shiv are in very healthy spots. I'm actually a big fan of Shiv on Vayne, just because, again, helping out with that wave clear in case Pekko does decide to go down. We saw in game 1 that Uzi and Pekko were never really in the same lane, and Pekko was actually a bit slow on rotations when they needed his primary wave clear. But also the fact that Vayne's going to stack Static Shiv very quickly due to her base movement speed and her passive.
Yeah. Well, Dragon is going to fall down here. V going to deliver a huge wave towards the top side of the map. V just going to hold it off the turret one more time. Definitely something that he does like to do on this Maokai. Not wasting too much time there at all. As whoa, there's the QR combo from Xie. Heads back to his distortion there as well. And Pekko says, can I have half my health bar back, please?
And that's really the scary thing for QG's comp. I like the fact that they got their comfort champions. You know, Uzi on the legacy pick of Vayne.
Yep.
Swift got his Nidalee, the champion that's pretty much been permabanned from him all season long. But there are tools to deal with these champions, and it's called LeBlanc, and it's Xie's comfort pick.
Oh, there's the flash actually as the Frozen Tomb comes in. Uzi delivered a kill as he just does a drive-by. Final hour was, of course, popped, and QG going to transition this one into the outer turret in the mid lane. Just some sloppy play out of Mystic, you have to think, just because he knew that they were all there. There's definitely always an option. You flash and press R.
But much better communication with QG. They look a lot more organized when Uzi is involved with the plays. So notice, no longer off into the side lanes, farming up his own itemization, joins up with the team, and suddenly QG look a lot more collected.
Yeah, well, there's the wallbang actually onto Uzi in a whole host of trouble. Has to use the flash in order to get out, but the flash from 957 is going to follow up, and Uzi's going to be dead. This is massive here for WE as they're trying to get even more out of it. Condi Over the top here as well. Jie is going to distort his way into range. B is going to get caught out of position, but he's pretty tanky. No mana, though. And Jie going to grab himself another kill. And once again, this mid-game, WE have just found some way of getting some picks.
It was the caster curse. I was just trying to compliment QG of being more collected, more focused when Uzi is grouped up with them. But they try a very aggressive walk around behind top tier tower and are picked out.
Yeah, Mora's going to be able to get some vision in here, and now it's Swift's time to shine. 0, 5 members in the pit, and WE are committing. It's below half health now as well. QG with 3 members now remaining as Jie does make his way in. He gets exhausted though. Back to his distortion as Swift out of the pit now as well. Condi will need to try and get this one, but Jie's going to fall. Pekko's going to fall down as well. Mystic's going to be able to grab the Baron. Swift is going to go. It's a triple kill already if you include the Baron. 957 able to pick up the last one, and Uzi and B, they get themselves back in, but my God, WE, they make it happen.
That was almost disaster for Team WE, though. I want to point out that the smite was actually missed. Again, Swift is, well, he was
dead, basically.
He was the higher level with the completion of the Baron. It did allow Condi to level up, so he had the stronger smite after the fight. But the fact of the matter is Swift could have very easily gotten that Baron. It was Mystic that picked it up with the Lucian because Condi fumbled the smite.
Yeah. But, in the end, WE are the ones that benefit. They have taken the gold lead now for the first time, and they have been able to do this. It just seems turning around a game. Around halfway through, 20 minutes. Seems to be when they can make it happen, and it's decisive calls, decisive plays. And despite the fact that, you know, that Baron was risky, and we are not disputing that.
It was a good job from their...
It was all 5 members making the decision.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage, as they're setting up a trap here, like you said, all 5 members making a decision to stand in this pink brush.
Oh, exploded. That is mincemeat on your screen right now as the cow just erupts. I've seen this. I think that there's a thing you can do in Vietnam, which is very similar, using a rocket launcher. Never mind. WE pushing up the mid lane. Pekko has his claw blocked. Zero's unbreakable. We'll see what more WE can grab out of this one. They've got a lot of turret damage, actually, if they can actually get up to it. But
and they've also got
relatively short range.
Control of all of the side lanes. Something that separates Team WE from a lot of the other LPL teams, again, is not only their understanding of when not to fight, but also their side wave control is quite mature.
Yeah.
For an LPL team, and making sure that they constantly have multiple pressure points to go around and minimize their losses when they do lose team fights, because teams have to reset maps around them.
Well, right now, inner turret is going to fall down top lane, going to be the next point of focus here as the inner did fall on the bottom side. Swift actually going to get caught out of position. Concussive blows is going to be there as well as Uzi does throw down the final hour, eats a bit of the culling, and Swift is going to take the rest of it on purpose, which is quite strange. But WE aren't able to grab any kills. We'll be able to get this blue buff though, and Jie walks over some wards. That is not going to indicate that he's going to get picked out. It indicates that everyone gets the hell out of there, because the LeBlanc is terrifying. Now Luden's Echo, another needlessly large rod. He's foregone any pickup of the cooldown reduction because he knew he wasn't as far ahead as he wanted to be. He just wants to have as much damage as possible. Whoa, Swift.
Speaking of damage.
Yeah, speaking of which, this is how it works. As Pekko used the claw, but unable to get himself in. Jie takes a lot of damage. This inner turret is going to fall down. That is 3 turrets for the Baron and a 5,000 gold lead out of nowhere for WE. They clawed back what was a 4,000 lead for QG earlier on. And look, if my maths is correct, that's something like a 9,000 gold swing.
It's pretty massive here and a great Baron power play. A lot of it on the back of Jie, who's opening up so much space for his team. Like you said, this LeBlanc has really taken off.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to 957 on this Poppy and how key he's been in multiple games throughout this series, particularly around the Baron pit. Yes, it was a risky play. They failed the smite, but they got it anyway. But 957 making the executive choice to zone out Swift for as long as he could.
It's beautiful. Can you feel the pride of Spawn somewhere in this office?
957 for me has always sat between like mediocre and good. And now this series, he's playing excellent.
He certainly is. Talking about the, you know, the S tiers, things like that. Stepping up. See where the WE.
Especially as a complete, I don't want to say random, but solo queue player, just coming out of nowhere.
Jie as well was another one of these top of Chinese
top
solo
of ladder
queue last year. Both of them really coming into their own, finding their own identities here as individual players and being played around by WE as Zero. Poked his head in, uses the stand behind me to get back to his team, but QG grouping up as 5. They do want to fight for this.
Xie is behind enemy lines. He's now been pinged out, but he's looking for Uzi. That's all he wants is that Vayne.
Well, the Blade of the Ruined King comes in. There's the condemn against the wall of Xie. He's going to be invisible for now, but it is going to be Uzi picking up the kill. Condi grabs himself the Dragon. Swift tried to get it, but gets out of the way. And there's a massive pulverized QG. This could be the team fight that they're looking for as Mystic explodes on the back end. Hits a double kill for Uzi as he's splashed over the top. Zero now as well. Silverbolt's doing so much work, and Uzi grabs a triple. QG, welcome back into this game.
His old duo partner flashes the wall and chases him down. That's got to feel sweet for Uzi. Get some revenge. But great play, and really it was Mystic being out of position. Gets caught out. Uzi finds a great condemn into the wall and just pops LeBlanc instantly.
Yeah, heads up play, and Peko and Uzi don't need to develop much synergy, these two, but they actually worked very well there. Is that magic helping V as well, as they are able to take down this inner turret, closing that gold gap even further here on the side of QG. It's a very different game number 3 right now. Only 1,000 gold between the teams at 30 minutes approximately. A massive deal for QG, as they were able to get past that first hurdle that WE has really sort of
But look where the gold is allocated.
In last time.
So across the board on Team WE, pretty much every single member has some kills to their name. They're fairly all even. Check out QG.
It's Uzi.
Yep. It is entirely Uzi. Which again, if you go back to the play that Mystic was trying to make behind that Dragon Pit, if he had managed to kill the Vayne, that's game.
The crazy thing is, though, is that everyone is so incredibly close, apart from Uzi. He's 100% of that gold lead. Otherwise, everyone else is basically even. Even Condi has been the benefactor of like a few of these last fights and has actually picked himself up a bunch of extra farm. He's actually ahead in gold against Swift, who was dominating him earlier on in this game. So we'll see how they're going to translate that moving forward. It is still 1.2k. Nothing at all. As WE, we'll see whether they can use their brains. This is what has been so important about this team, to set up what they need. 957 has the teleport. V does not.
They've also got the side wave control right now, as here comes the engage.
Yeah, full hard engage as well. Zero is going to get a massive knock-up with that Glacial Prison. Xie actually jumps his way in there as 957 teleports through. Uzi's going to get stunned against the wall. Mystic picks up the kill as the ultimate's going to knock Swift into the air. He's now out of the fight as Peko uses the Zhonya's, but he can't quite create enough space as Xie gets out of the top. The double kill comes in as Swift falls down as well. And WE, we were talking about orchestrating the fight. It started off as a 4v5. They finishes off it as a 5v5. And get 3 kills for nothing. And
congratulations, Team WE, because they're going to perhaps end the game here, for sure get an inhib, walk back to the Baron, but it was just beautiful execution of all of the tools they have to deal with that Vayne. Again, Mystic flying past the back line, lands on top of Vayne trying to blow up, followed up by 957, heroic charging forward, finding the stun that actually kills the Vayne.
Yeah, 12 seconds here as well on Uzi, who's watching his Nexus turrets evaporate. The rest of QG just trying to create as much of a nuisance of themselves as possible, but Mystic is going to be able to take down these turrets. The Nexus is going to be next on the menu, and WE, a 3-0 sweep in this best of 5, secure themselves the 3rd place. A bunch more points heading into Worlds. Of course, not going to be going to MSI, but this team, so impressive in the last few matches that we've seen them, and they have a bright future as this squad.
Yeah, completely agree. They looked methodical, organized, calculated, together.
Yeah.
Everything that we wanted from this team, I mean, pretty much since this is the standard that this organization has set up over years, and they're finally starting to reach back to those expectations and that lofty ceiling. So great job, and congratulations, World Elite.
Yeah, incredibly well played, and we'll see exactly what is going to happen next here for this team as they are preparing for LPL Split 2 for 2016. I highly doubt there will be any changes as far as roster is concerned, but I really hope they continue this drive because they look so driven in these playoffs. This is a team that had something to prove, and hopefully they hold on to that moving in.
No, I, again, completely agree. It comes down to where does that ceiling actually sit right now? Yeah. Their macro play is fairly impressive for the LPL, probably one of the more advanced ones. I think they need to clean up a couple of different elements, some individual decision-making. If we think back to Xie, yes, he had a fantastic series, but he also had some fairly awkward plays where he just kind of threw away leads against a more punishing and more experienced mid laner. He may not get the bounce back on that as quickly. So just clean up some individual decision-making, and they're a top-tier team in the LPL.
Yeah, they most certainly are. And we'll see whether they are going to be able to continue to move forward. But ladies and gentlemen, that means that third place is going to go to WE. Fourth place is now for Xiaogu. But places 1 and 2 are yet to be decided. Of course, in a few days' time, it is going to be the grand final of the LPL. And that will be RNG taking on EDG. And after this match, it's actually quite interesting because WE played fantastically. RNG managed to take them in that 5-game series. How do we think that RNG stacks up against EDG that have been looking ludicrously strong?
I already talked about this a little bit yesterday after the forfeit from QG against EDG, and then I feel like it's just a stylistic nightmare for RNG, in all honesty. Just because they try to get so much snowball around early game pressure and their ability to collapse and skirmish over deep vision, which isn't... I mean, they've evolved a lot more from that type of strategy, but it's still a very heavy skirmish team, which means that they're very focused on getting individual lane matchups or stronger lane matchups. But that's actually exactly what EDG do. Yeah,
that's exactly right. But it is going to be the 3-0 sweep, as you could see there from WE. We are going to have a look at the standings. As we saw before, this was the promotion tournament. HYG making their way back in. EPA doing the same. OMG very early on secured their place back in the LPL. And EDE.
Edward Esports.
Edward Esports, of course.
This will be our 4 teams joining the LPL
Probably
for
not
summer.
Called that as they make their way in, because, of course, it is EDG's sister team. Unfortunately, we wave goodbye to M3, who fell down to HYG very early on as well. But otherwise, LPL looking relatively similar. Here's the playoffs, though. And as we just saw, WE secured the 3rd place position. And it all comes down to RNG versus EDG. We'll see how it is going to work out, of course, in a few days' time. 23rd of April will be EDG taking on Royal Never Give Up in the best of 5 series for the grand final. And
a trip to MSI.
Exactly right. That is what's on the line. EDG, the MSI team, of course, managed to take it out last year. 2015, looking to try and go back and defend their title. Unfortunately, didn't exactly have the best showing at Worlds, but the middle of the year, that's where EDG shine, and they're looking fantastic moving in there now.
We were talking about stylistic differences and the combination of RNG versus EDG, and we talked about how EDG also like to prioritize the stronger lane matchups, which is exactly what RNG try to do. But the other thing and the big key difference is the ability to 5v5. RNG cannot 5v5.
No, we saw that.
Yeah, they're decent at it when they get flanking plays. Looper is incredibly dependent on being able to utilize his teleport. And when he has a flanking play, he executes it really well. But a straight setting your line of scrimmage and then running head or front to back team composition, RNG have actually really struggled with that. Whereas on the other side, EDG are looking like that same dominant 5v5 team that we've always expected from them. So I feel like it's going to be a very explosive match just because these two teams like to do similar things, but EDG are just better at everything that RNG like to do.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that, yeah, exactly right. In the very early stages of the match, EDG often do ridiculous things, what with Twisted Fate, the likes of Nocturne, stuff like that. But the MVP is, of course, going to be 957. He's deserved this multiple games in a row,
He deserved it last game.
Yeah, damn right.
So
I feel like it's good that he's finally getting one.
Better late than never. He's had phenomenal Poppy performance. We saw the Poppy priority over the Echo multiple times. We talked about this a bit in draft, that it's just this idea against the likes of QG who want to 5v5 all the time, have a lot of experience with that a Poppy ultimate can mean so much because it immediately turns it into a 4v5, a 3v5, depending on how key you are with that ultimate, and 957 was so on point.
Yeah, and he got it over and over again there as well. I mean, the Lissandra was denied away from him, but it seems to be these sort of like heavy skirmishing, like tanking plays that 957 is able to really get ahead on. Game number 2 was just ridiculous because he had all armor, but look at him. This wallbang onto Uzi, if the slideshow will stop. There it is. Smacks him up, and he's just dead.
Yeah. Again, it was the fact that their team composition had the perfect amount of tools to deal with Uzi, and that was the big issue, is that the allocation of gold.
Yeah.
Because Uzi was going to be a primary carry. Again, you have Pekko, who's going to be a rotation for the mid lane. He's not going to be a primary carry. He's just...
No.
They tried it on the Lucian. It didn't work. He had the Lissandra. He was effectively there to stand next to Uzi and try to make sure that they didn't jump on him, which in that last team fight, Mystic flies in, Lysandra nails him with the ultimate, but then it just leaves room because the cooldown's down for the heroic charge to come in.
Yeah.
So again, the issue, if all of your gold is on one member and you're against a composition that can dive backlines so effectively with Poppy and LeBlanc, chances are you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, and then there's also the disrespect that came out of Uzi just a little bit there as well. Decided to go for the third item, Infinity Edge. Grabbed himself a Spectre's Cowl very, very late in the game, but no QSS. We often see third item, second item QSS for Uzi's Vayne, often when he's taking these things very, very seriously.
I mean,
and when you've got something like that to get out of, like, that's a big deal.
Frankly, I don't blame Uzi, really, for not picking up the QSS. I mean, you are correct that it's obviously going to help, but at the same time, Uzi, knowing that you have the pressure that you have to carry, I don't blame him for looking for more damage and just trying to put everything on his back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our third place match. Make sure you are there next week for the grand final. It's going to be coming to you live from Shanghai as well. So very excited to bring that to you on the 23rd of April. So ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it from us. Big thanks from myself, Prosper, and our whole production team. We'll see you next week.